What's up, fitnessers? Today we are talking to you about the skipping rope. We're going to be talking about double unders. We're going to be going through the techniques for how to learn double unders, how to gradually apply double unders to workouts, and how to take yourself out of the single under zone. Okay team, so the first thing we're going to talk about is holding on to the handles. It is a good idea to hold as far towards the end of the handles as possible because the handles are carrying the weight. The closer we hold towards the wire, the more that weight dissipates into our arm and we don't get to feel it. And when we're starting out, we want to feel as much weight of the rope as possible so it gives us all of the feedback to create the movement. The next thing we want is to keep the hands down towards the pockets and start learning to use the wrists. If we start letting those hands float up by the side, we're going to be using too much of our shoulders to create the circles for this. We want to keep them down. So, hands on the end to feel the weight and hands down so we can start using the wrists. The next thing we need to know is not about the skipping rope. It is about how we jump. We want to create some what feels easy bounding up and down, trying to stay as light on our feet as possible. So we're going to notice that if we struggle with the jumping position and we're sort of jumping super heavy footed and each jump is a lot of effort, it's going to be really difficult for us to start stringing skipping together, let alone when we get to double unders. So we want to practice aiming to feel light on our feet and trying to get gentle taps as we come up and down the ground. So try not to stomp, up on the toes, land back on the toes, try to get the full foot to hit the ground, and then we're going to get that full recoil. This is going to make the double unders easier when we get to them. The next thing, the thing that is really important to help us get our double unders, we need to understand there's a difference in the cadence of the jumping. The jumping for our single unders is super quick, the jumping for our double unders is slower, but has a larger jump. If we're doing our single unders really quick with small jumps, it's not going to have as much transferability to our double unders. So actually we need the opposite for our singles. We need to perform our singles slower and practice that higher jump, so that new jumping cadence. So I'm going to be going as slow as I can to start. Notice I've got a little pause on the ground, and then I can start to add in a little bit of a longer jump and less of a pause. But I really want to avoid these types of reps. So we'll start with the first one, we build to the second one. When we're learning the double unders, get rid of that final rep though, because it's not going to help us. The next thing we need to know is that our double under journey, the very start of it, learning the actual double itself, it's a bit of a stab in the dark. We have to just start attempting it. There's no magic secret technique that's going to get you going from 0 to 100 straight away. It has to be a little bit of a tense, sort of close your eyes, big jump type of attempt. That's how most of us start. Whilst there are some anomalies that don't start like that, we can't be focused on them, we have to focus on what we can do. So, get your singles going, nice and slow. We can start to pick it up just a tiny bit, and then when we're ready, that has to be the first one. We start banking as many of them as we can. Eventually, we can stop closing our eyes. The jump can come down a little bit, and that's when the magic starts for starting to bring these together. After that part, we're going to start trying to link in our doubles and singles. So you might do 5 singles, a double, and then back down to the singles again. Starting to link these together is how we're going to start getting into that double under journey and eventually take ourselves away from the singles and into the doubles. If we're having some trouble with the rope hitting our feet, there's 2 things I want us to be thinking about. The first one is the length of the rope for each individual. If I get 2 feet on the middle, it should be somewhere around the bottom of my chest. That is the bottom of the handle. Not the top of the handle, but the bottom of the handle. That's the first thing. The second thing is be aware of the hands when I'm performing the skipping itself. Like I said earlier, if the hands start coming out wide, not only are the shoulders doing the work, but you can see that rope's going to start catching on my shins. If I get them down towards my pockets, we get loads of this slack. And eventually we can have a shorter rope, which is going to make it much more efficient. Okay, so once we've got to this part, we've taken the stab in the dark, we've started to get the odd one here or there. Maybe we can string 1 to every 5 single unders or so. This is where the magic starts. We have to start implementing that as much as we can Gradually, we take the single unders down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we start bringing the double unders up inversely. So now you might do 2 or 3 double unders to 2 or 3 singles, and we start playing like that. Let's see if we can get a shot. Done. Okay team, the last thing we're going to do, some extra special advanced bonus double under tips. So if we have double unders and we need to progress them, or they're giving us a little bit of a nuisance in workouts, I've got a few extra bits for you. First one is going to be length of the rope. The shorter we can get the rope, which means the more efficient our technique is going to be, the better it's going to be over time, because it's going to force us to stop being out here and start coming down here. So gradually over time, try get a shorter rope. It might start initially that you have to do double unders with a rope up here, but eventually we want to get that rope down, 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 somewhere sort of around the ribs if we can, because that means we're going to have a nice tight and efficient use of the wrists. After that, in our workouts, get used to finishing your double under set and placing your skipping rope down behind you so that once you've done, you're in a different station, you can come straight up, pick it up, and then you can get going straight away. Don't just throw your rope down onto the ground. And then the last one, the biggest one that's helped me and so many of the people I've worked with, is trying to regulate your breathing when you perform every single rep. Trying to get into some type of rhythm of breathe in and breathe out. For me, every time my feet contact the ground, I'm trying to take that as a signal to either breathe in or breathe out. Because generally you can get high reps of this done per minute, so you can get that breathing to regulate and coordinate with those jumps. So if you're working on double unders, you're trying to get sort of 50 plus or 100 plus unbroken, we need to get some breathing rhythm, we need to get our hands down to be more efficient, and in the middle of a workout, we need to lay the rope down in the correct place. CrossFit Putney members, we have got our new skipping ropes in. Just a reminder, they're hanging up in the normal place. If you need to adjust them, unscrew, screw it tightly, check it screwed tightly before every use. We don't want to miss these little important screws. This is Head Coach Mike from CrossFit Putney. Thanks a lot for listening to our educational video, and I'll see you again soon. Smooth. Oh, bang, bang. Come on, Rizzle. Let me see what you got. Jesus. That's it. There we go. Oh yeah, there we go.